Hello everybody, it's Tommy and welcome back to another Create a Sim for the Disney Save. Today we're going to be making some townie characters for Moonwood Mill from Brother Bear. We are adding this film to Moonwood Mill and going to be making the two main characters, Kenai and Koda from the film. These two are actually going to be the other werewolf pack that you need when you have the Sims 4 werewolves. I previously created the Halloween Town villagers and had them serve as one of the werewolf packs, being the Wild Fangs. Those are your werewolves that are a little bit more into being werewolves and into being monsters. They like to scare, they like the overall appeal of being werewolves. They really embrace that side of themselves. The Moonwood Collective, I believe, is supposed to be a little bit more like trying to get people to really like werewolves and appeasing to the side of humanity a little bit more. So regardless, you need both packs to have at least a pack leader, and then just me thinking about like dynamics and things like that. Of course, I want to do a few more than just the pack leader. I'd want to have at least 2 members inside of each wolf pack. So it was suggested by patrons that we use Kenai and Koda for the Moonwood Collective because of the fact that they're not exactly werewolves or wolves for that matter. They are bears, and I have made a bear before in Werewolf Create a Sim. When I previously created the antagonist from Brave, we made him into a werewolf bear. So the idea is not new to the Disney Save, but I think having some characters that are more in touch with nature, are more like calm-spirited, are characters that are generally very good overall, but still fit the aesthetic of Moonwood Mill. Also, that being said, I rewatched Brother Bear before creating these two characters because originally when I was planning out the world, I had wanted to, usually the goal is to put more than one movie in a dedicated world. I usually like to aim for at least 3, depending on the size of the world. And so I wanted to have Brother Bear be featured as a lot inside of Moonwood Mill. But when I went through the film, I really couldn't come up with anything that I felt like was super necessary. I really would have been almost pulling teeth to try to come up with something. There are many locations that are shown throughout the film, but the problem is they're so like just the woods or nature or a river. Even doing the village that these guys are from, it's not shown very much, and it doesn't have anything very significant about it that would have it stand out as this is definitely the village home of the characters from Brother Bear. It just kind of looked like trees with lots of housing and camp style. I've done other things that are similar before with the Northuldra from Frozen 2. So ultimately I decided that it wasn't going to work out to do any lots regarding this film, at least not in this world. I could see that maybe we could do them in future worlds, and I think the idea of doing maybe something in Granite Falls that is like a dedicated woods world could totally be coming down the line. But because I couldn't come up with like a concrete location from the film, I decided we wouldn't do anything from this film, and instead we could still include the characters and have them fulfill that other role. So they will be townies, but they are going to be the pack leaders of that other pack. You can add pack leaders to your households and play with them as much as you'd like to. You can just befriend them naturally and then play with them and hopefully get into the wolf packs if that's something that you're looking to be doing. There are also other characters from Brother Bear and the second Brother Bear, which I have never seen, that have been recommended to me to add to this wolf pack, and I could very well down the line. I am just sticking with these 2 for now, but we could come back and add a few more so we have a little bit more bears in this wolf pack. To talk a little bit about our first character here, Kenai, who will be the pack leader for the Moonwood Collective. His aspiration is Cure Seeker, which is really cool. It's like a branch of the werewolf aspiration. You can pick from different ones, and that is one of the options that I discovered in play mode, which is really, really cool. His traits are hot-headed, goofball, and self-assured. Someone recommended that we make him a fisherman for his career. I think that's actually a really good idea. I might go with that, but let me know if you have any ideas for him in the comment section below. I want to talk a little bit about his physical appearance for a second because I did stray a little bit from the film in terms of Kenai's human hair. So the issue is that Kenai kind of has like this bob style haircut that is really fitting for his character in the movie, but I think the versions that we have in The Sims 4 are almost like too polished, almost looks like they have hair gel in them at all times, just very straight, polished hairstyles. It doesn't really fit his character, and every time I tried to put one onto him, it took away from his physical appearance. Like I felt like he looked more like his character when I didn't use one of those hairstyles. So I started going through the Horse Ranch pack, which does have some hairs that are indigenous inspired, and I found one that's actually a lot closer to one of his brother's hair, but it still has a lot of similarities to his own, and it makes him still look like himself. So I know the hair is a little bit different from the film, but there's enough elements to it that I really felt like it fit his face and still had enough to it that it was similar enough to the one from the film. So I went with that. His outfit was definitely a little tough, but I was able to piece some different things together to give him some more like winter wear looking clothing, which is really what he wears throughout the film. The film does take place in Alaska, so a lot of the characters are wearing heavier clothing. And then the bear form, which is so fun to do. I was really excited to try this again since I've done the last one from Brave. He was an antagonist, so I had to make him look a little scary, grumpy bear. This is Nice Bear, and he looks very grizzly bear. He's got the same markings, but in a more dulled down, cartoonish sort of way. It was fun to do a character that actually looks a little bit more like a traditional bear and try to match the colors and everything. Both Kenai and Koda have very basic coloring. They're like almost all brown, a little bit lighter around the mouth area, and then they have darkened paws, like from, I would say, where your knees would sort of cut on the werewolf up and the forearms down. Kenai has like a little belly and Koda does not. Koda was actually more flat overall, had some more basic coloring than Kenai did. Koda's aspiration is emissary of the collective. He has the cheerful and good traits, and I did have to age him up. It's very obvious in the film that Koda is supposed to be very young, probably a child of some kind, and unfortunately The Sims 4 does not allow us to have werewolf children that have a werewolf form. And because Koda is the one that gets shown always in his bear form, I had to be able to make him into a werewolf, which meant that he had to be aged up to a teen. He's currently our only teen werewolf in the save, so that's kind of a cool thing. It is a little bit of a shame that I have to age him up, but I still think that teen him embodies the character, and you could just say it's a young teen, like 12, 13. He was even more fun to make. He has this very soft look to him. He's got those really big eyes. I did find some art of people who had tried to translate him over to a human and definitely used that in terms of inspiration, but I found the werewolf's clothing so helpful. Trying to clothe him was like the biggest struggle, and then I found this like tattered sweatshirt that comes in a deep chocolate brown color, and it felt very much him. It also felt like he would have a little bit longer of a haircut, like he doesn't trim it all the time. Koda is very spunky, he's very wild, so I felt like in terms of his physical appearance, he's not gonna like take the most care of himself. He'd be probably a little bit more into being a bear, being a little bit more rambunctious. He has that youthfulness to him. I have one more video that will be coming out for Moonwood Mill. It is 2 more townies, 1 last household, a different film that we're introducing, and then it will be time to move on. The finale of my voting process for the next Disney Save World is currently happening on my Patreon. I will know pretty soon what it's going to be. It's gonna run a little bit into wedding time for me here, like literally up into the day. So I think there's going to be a slight delay in videos between when we put out the new tour videos and start the new world and ending Moonwood Mill, just because of the timing on my part and taking a little bit of time off for my wedding, which you guys have all been really, really sweet and understanding about. Just to kind of give you guys a heads up as terms of schedule for the next couple of weeks. I hope that my Brother Bear fans like how these 2 turned out. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and if you would like to support the Disney Save on Patreon, you can do so by clicking the link in my description box down below or the one at the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I will talk to you all in the next one.